You lie still, wrapped in the hush of morning. The sky is not yet bright, but it is beginning, softening, stretching, blooming like petals just before they open. You feel it on your skin before you see it, a delicate thread of warmth, like a whisper traced down your arm. It is the sun slowly stirring behind the edge of the world dot, and in that first moment, you're reminded the light you feel now began its journey over 8 minutes ago, racing across space from a ball of fire. 93 million miles away. It is not just light. It is time. It is touch. It is history arriving gently, on schedule, as it always does. You breathe in. The air is cooler than the sunlit warmth, and the contrast is comforting. Already, your body is responding. Tiny signals inside you, called circadian rhythms, begin. Their invisible shift. Your brain adjusts, cells awaken. Every part of you listens to this ancient rhythm without needing to think. You've always been in conversation with the sun, even before you could name it. You open your eyes. Light now spills gently over the curve of the earth. Not sudden, not loud. The world becomes visible slowly, like a dream remembering itself. The tops of trees glow gold, as though lit from within. A leaf flickers, dew catches in its curve, and suddenly you understand. This isn't just beauty. It's science playing out in real time. The warmth of the sun is energy, pure and patient. It moves in waves, some you can see and many you cannot. The visible ones paint your world in color. The others warm the ground, cook the soil, feed the breeze. Without a sound, photons flood the earth, each carrying a story of the star they came from. That star, our sun, is more than a bright dot in the sky. It is a giant nuclear engine, burning hydrogen in its core, releasing energy with every fusion, every flare. It has been doing this for over 4.5 billion years. Never hurrying, never stopping. And yet, here it is again, meeting you now, on this quiet morning, just as you need it. You stretch, your shadow follows. You begin to move, and so does the light, bending around corners, slipping through the spaces between branches and blades of grass. It's easy to forget how this light shapes the very weather we live in. But it does. When sunlight touches water, it gives it permission to rise, as vapor, as cloud, as mist over the lake. The air warms unevenly across the globe, and this imbalance is the origin of wind. The sun doesn't just light the day. It stirs the atmosphere. It makes movement. It makes change. Pause here. Listen to the world waking with you. Insects begin to hum. Birds arrange their voices in layers. Even the leaves seem to whisper with purpose. All of it, every sound, every gesture, follows the light. You are not separate from this pattern. You are made of the same elements, obeying the same rules. Consider this. Without sunlight, there would be no weather at all. No wind brushing your cheek, no clouds gathering like stories above your head. No rain, no snow, no seasons to shape memory. The earth would be silent, frozen in darkness, a place of stillness without rhythm. But the sun gives rhythm. It gives contrast, day and night, light and shadow, warmth and cool. This contrast is the breath of the planet. It is the pulse behind every leaf that trembles, every tide that turns. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the journey of a single beam of sunlight. It leaves the sun's surface, passing through a storm of charged particles and plasma. It weaves through magnetic fields and cosmic silence. And finally, it reaches your skin, barely changed, after traveling 150 million kilometers. That light touches you, and in doing so, becomes part of you. It warms your blood. It lights your thoughts. It may even lift your mood, triggering chemical messengers inside your brain. You are, in a way, photosynthetic too, not like the trees, but guided by light, all the same dot, and now the world is fully awake. The sun has climbed above the horizon, and with it, life begins to stretch outward. Grasses lean toward it. Flowers tilt, opening slowly like sighs. Somewhere far away, snow begins to melt, stirred by a single morning ray. Somewhere else, air begins to rise, and clouds quietly form. This is where weather begins, not in thunder or lightning, but here in this soft warmth. Weather is the long echo of the sun's attention. The day ahead may hold rain or wind, or brilliant calm, but all of it is shaped by the sun's steady fire, which greets you every morning without fail. You lie still once more, letting that truth settle in. Every storm you felt, every breeze that's passed through your hair, every season that's brushed your window, they all begin with the same golden touch. You smile, perhaps, or breathe just a little deeper. A sun does not demand anything from you. It arrives every day, even when hidden behind clouds. Even when not seen, it's still there, shaping air currents, stirring oceans, guiding your body gently through time. So you rise slowly, not in haste, but in reverence. You walk through this day with the knowledge that you are part of a much larger cycle, one that begins with a star and ends with the breath you just took. The sun, which woke you, also wakes forests, lakes, mountains, and cities. It links everything in quiet threads of heat and light. It's easy to miss, but once you notice, you begin to see how everything follows it, how weather itself is simply the earth responding to sunlight, over and over again. And though it feels like this chapter ends here, it doesn't, because above you, far beyond the clouds, the sun is more than just a quiet giver of light. It pulses, it breathes, it changes, and with those changes come ripples across the earth, ripples you will begin to feel just ahead in the steady heartbeat of a star. You lie back again, your body gently unwinding into the comfort of stillness. Above you, the sky is calm, but behind that blue expanse, something vast is always moving, not chaotically, but rhythmically, like a deep, patient breath. The sun from here looks constant. It rises and sets each day with soft reliability. But if you were to drift closer, not in body but in thought, you would see that it is alive in its own way, not with thoughts or feelings, but with motion, with fire, with cycles that hum across decades. The sun has a heartbeat, not like yours, slower, broader, a breath so long it takes 11 years just to complete a single inhale and exhale. This is the solar cycle, a quiet wave of magnetic change that ripples across the sun's surface and far beyond it, shaping space and stirring weather here on Earth. Imagine it now, the sun, not as a smooth golden disk, but as a roiling ocean of plasma. Streams of energy rise and fall. Magnetic fields twist and snap. Sometimes dark spots bloom on the surface, sunspots, cooler areas where intense magnetism blocks heat. They come and go, multiplying and fading like freckles under cosmic sunlight. In the peak of the cycle, the sun's surface is dappled and busy. Storms erupt in bursts called solar flares, sudden flashes of energy hurled into space. Other times, it releases coronal mass ejections, enormous clouds of charged particles that stream outward like solar sighs. These aren't loud. You don't feel them directly, but they are real, and they travel far, sometimes reaching Earth, brushing against our planet's magnetic shield like a whisper, rearranging the sky. When the cycle calms, the sun appears quieter. Fewer sunspots, less frequent eruptions. But this stillness is not empty. It is simply the other half of the pattern, the exhale after the flare, the pause before the next crescendo. You may wonder, how does this cosmic heartbeat affect me, lying here beneath the blue sky? The answer is, slowly, invisibly, and completely. These solar changes influence Earth's space weather, the stream of particles and energy that flows toward and around our planet. This space weather can touch satellites, disrupt radio waves, and gently stir the outer atmosphere. But even more delicately, over longer periods, these cycles may nudge the Earth's climate. They can shift wind belts, gently alter the jet stream, and influence the flow of heat around the globe. You don't feel it as a jolt. You feel it as mood, as rhythm, as the way winters feel colder some years, or rains come sooner, as changes. In cloudiness, in the frequency of storms, in the unseen push and pull of the atmosphere above you. And still, the sun keeps pulsing. Even now, it is somewhere in its cycle, either swelling with activity or drifting into quiet. Even now, its surface changes minute by minute, hour by hour, in motions too vast to grasp and too slow to notice, unless you're watching with patience or falling asleep while imagining it. Let's go deeper still. Imagine you're floating, closer to the sun, wrapped in a safe cocoon of thought. You begin to feel its size. More than 1,000,000 Earths could fit inside it. Its core burns at over 15 million degrees Celsius. And yet, all that heat, all that fury, gives rise to gentle life here on Earth. The magnetic fields that drive the solar cycle twist and tangle beneath the surface, like currents in a deep sea. As they shift, they rearrange the very architecture of sunlight. And over time, these small magnetic changes ripple out to affect the winds, the clouds, the pressure systems that shape your weather dot. It's like the pulse of a drum. You cannot hear, but that your body dances to anyway. Even human history carries the fingerprints of the sun's moods. There were times, long ago, when the sun's activity fell into a deep sleep, a prolonged quiet known as the Maunder Minimum in the 1600s. During that time, Europe and parts of North America experienced what came to be called the Little Ice Age, a stretch of colder winters and shifting seasons that changed harvests, cities, even cultures, not because the sun dimmed completely, but because its heartbeat slowed dot, and now you lie here again, connected to all of it. You, the sun, the sky. Your body senses morning and evening. Your skin warms beneath rays, shaped by storms on a star. You don't need to track the sun's every flare to be part of its rhythm. You already are. You wake when light enters your room. You feel better when the sky is bright. Your bones make vitamin D when the sun kisses your skin. Your dreams, your moods, your sleep, all are written in part by the sun's invisible hand dot, so you let go now, drifting in that knowledge, letting it settle like dust in a golden room. The sun's heartbeat continues, steady and slow, riding, whether in the sky above and in the patterns of your life below. And still, the cycle turns. The sun is not constant, not really, but it is faithful. It is a presence that changes gracefully, like the tides, like your breath. It teaches that change is not disorder. Change is rhythm dot, and if you listen carefully, you can feel the sun's pulse in everything. In the whisper of wind, the roll of thunder, the hush before a storm. But what happens when that rhythm touches? More than just the air? What happens when the sun sends something else? Not warmth, but wind? A wind not made of air, but of charged particles and invisible power? There is a wind in space, and it is always blowing from the surface of the sun across the dark ocean of the cosmos dot, and in the next chapter, you'll feel it brush against the earth and see how that solar wind changes the sky. You close your eyes again, breathing gently as the world quiets around you. But in your imagination, you lift upward higher than the tallest clouds, past the shimmer of the blue sky, until the earth falls away beneath you like a sleeping giant dot out here. In the space between planets, there is no true silence. The void is not empty. It hums, it moves, and most of all, It flows. The sun, ever burning, sends out more than light. It sends wind. Not the kind you feel on your face, not the rustling of leaves or the cooling touch after heat. This wind is made of plasma-charged particles, mostly. Protons and electrons, constantly escaping the sun's upper atmosphere. This is the solar wind. And though it is invisible, it travels fast, sometimes up to 800 kilometers per second, streaming out across the solar system in all directions. It is the sun's breath, moving endlessly through space. You float in that thought now, cradled in weightlessness as this wind passes you by. You can't feel it on your skin, but if you could, it would tingle like static, dancing across the surface of your thoughts. The earth, delicate in comparison, is not defenseless. Around it swirls a magnetic field, vast and invisible, like a protective cocoon. Scientists call it the magnetosphere, but to you, it feels like a soft shell, humming gently, repelling the harshest solar whispers. Most of the time, the solar wind flows past, curving around the magnetosphere, diverted like water around a smooth stone in a stream. But sometimes, when the sun sends out stronger gusts after a solar flare or a coronal mass ejection, the wind presses harder and the thaw. Magnetosphere ripples. These ripples can send shock waves through the upper atmosphere. They can energize particles trapped within the magnetic belts, stir electric currents, and even cause brief disruptions to communication systems far above the cloud's dot. But something beautiful also happens. When particles from the solar wind slip past Earth's magnetic defenses and travel toward the poles, they meet the upper atmosphere in a collision of light. What results is the aurora borealis in the north, and the aurora australis in the south. You've seen pictures, maybe even stood beneath one. But now, in your mind, you're there again. You are standing on a snowy hill beneath a sky that glows with slow-moving fire. Colors flow across the dark like silk underwater greens, purples, blues, occasionally red. They dance in long ribbons, flickering and curling, stirred by the invisible wind above. This is solar wind made visible. Space weather turned to poetry. Each aurora is a story of impact. A solar particle travels across space, is guided by magnetic lines toward the poles, and crashes into an atom high in the atmosphere. The atom, excited by this visitor, releases light, a brief, beautiful flash that becomes part of the curtain above you. And there you are, in the center of it all, watching the sky whisper its secrets in color. You may not realize it, but these interactions happen every day. Even when you don't see them, even when the sky is calm and ordinary, the solar wind is always flowing, and the earth is always listening, like a conversation. Light breath, and this interaction goes far beyond beauty. The solar wind shapes the outermost edges of Earth's atmosphere. It affects satellites, power grids, and even the orbit of spacecraft. It's studied closely because while gentle most days, it can carry storms of energy and magnetism. But here, in this chapter, you focus not on danger, but on balance. You realize that the same star that nourishes your skin and feeds your seasons also sends this invisible wind, and that your Earth, wise and spinning, catches it, cradles it, and answers with shimmering lights. It is not war. It is not battle. It is harmony. A song between sun and sky. You breathe again, deeper. Now, slower. The auroras drift in your mind like feathers. You feel small, but not insignificant. Protected, but still part of something immense. You are not under the sky. You are inside it, inside the wind, the field, the movement. The Earth's magnetosphere surrounds you, holds you, hums with quiet strength. The sun's wind passes over it, around it, through it, and still you sleep. Still you dream. You are part of this great, gentle shield of a planet that listens to stars and replies with color. And somewhere above you, right now, even if the night is dark and empty, those lights are stirring. Green curls into violet. Blue flickers into white. The sky speaks in silence, and you drift with it weightless, safe, listening. But the atmosphere, touched by this energy, is more than a canvas for light. It is the stage on which heat and motion begin. And in the next chapter, you'll sink deeper into the water, into memory, into the way the oceans hold the sun's fire long after it sets. You are floating now. Not in the air, but on calm, salt-sweet water. The sun is overhead, soft and steady. Its warmth kisses the surface of the ocean, and you feel it pass through you, slowly like heat spreading through fabric. This is not the heat of fire or flame. It is gentler. It settles, not scorches. You close your eyes and let your body drift. Beneath you, the sea stretches downward in endless, silent layers. And this sunlight, this patient energy, doesn't stop at the surface. It sinks, not far, but far enough. It enters the upper layer of the ocean, known as the epipelagic zone, where life blooms and color dances. It is here that the ocean remembers light. Water has memory, not like a mind, but like a body. It holds heat, stores it, moves it, and the way the sun touches the sea shapes everything, not just weather, but climate, seasons, and even the quiet rhythm of life on land. You begin to sense it. The ocean is not still. It is constantly turning over, folding in on itself, exchanging heat like breath. Where the sunlight is strongest, near the equator, the ocean warms deeply. The surface water becomes lighter, more buoyant. In colder regions, near the poles, the ocean cools, becomes denser, and sinks. These temperature differences create movement, a gentle, global conveyor belt of water. This movement is called the thermaline circulation, a slow, looping current driven by temperature, thermo, and saltiness, halin. It's sometimes called the global ocean conveyor. Imagine that now. A ribbon of water, centuries old, carrying heat from the tropics toward the poles, and sinking and gliding back again in deep, cold silence. It moves beneath storms, beneath ships, beneath even the deepest swimming whales. And as it moves, it carries the sun's memory with it. A single pulse of sunlight in the Pacific may affect the rainfall in South America months later. A warm patch of sea may rise into a hurricane a year. From now, the ocean remembers not with thoughts, but with temperature, with shifting warmth and cooling breath. And this memory drives one of the most powerful forces on Earth, El Niño and La Niña. You may have heard these names before, like weather whispers on the news. But here, they unfold for you gently. In El Niño years, the central Pacific Ocean warms unusually. That warmth changes wind patterns, redirects rainfall, and weakens the usual upwelling of cold, nutrient-rich water. The effects ripple across the planet. Rain falls where it usually doesn't. Drought arrives where water once flowed. Storms become stronger. Seasons arrive too early or too late, and it all begins with sunlight, the slow accumulation of warmth on the ocean's skin, held and shifted by currents that stretch across the globe. La Niña, its opposite, brings cooling in the Pacific and shifts the patterns, again tightening winds, pushing storms toward different coasts. These aren't sudden events. They're part of the ocean's long conversation with the sun, part of its slow dance through years and decades. You breathe in, gently. Your lungs rise and fall like tides. Your body, mostly water, seems to understand this rhythm instinctively. You imagine yourself sinking, not in fear, but in wonder. You pass through the warm surface waters, watching sunlight fade into shades of blue. The light grows dimmer, cooler, more mysterious. At a certain point, the sun's touch disappears. You enter the twilight zone of the sea, where only memory remains, where warmth becomes trace, and currents carry whispers of energy from long ago. And still, these waters shape your weather. They give rise to monsoons, which pour life onto continents. They feed the birth of cyclones. Swirling storms that build over hot water like breath drawn deep and released as wind. Even the gentle breeze outside your window on a summer night has its roots in sunlight stored and moved by the sea, because the ocean doesn't just reflect the sky. It responds. It listens, and it holds on. You float back to the surface now, the sun still warm on your skin. But something inside you has changed. You see the sea not as a vast stillness, but as a memory made fluid. You realize that weather is not just about what happens above, in the clouds, in the sky, in the atmosphere. It's also about what happens below, in the quiet depths, where sunlight once swam. You feel awe and safety. The world is vast, yes, but it is also patterned, measured, responsive. And the ocean, with all its mystery, is part of that balance. You drift, soft and weightless, and let your thoughts follow the current. Somewhere a storm is forming. Somewhere a monsoon is gathering its voice. But here, in this moment, the sea is calm. And its warmth is a blanket, a memory of the sun held in blue. And just as the sea remembers sunlight, the sky remembers the ocean. Because above the surface, where wind and water meet, something else begins. Not just clouds, but rivers in the sky, streams of vapor that carry the ocean's gift far inland. In the next chapter, you'll rise again gently into that invisible flow. To learn how water moves, not just across the land, but through the sky itself. You lie still again, letting the calm settle into your chest like morning fog. The air around you feels light, open, quiet. But above you, higher than the birds, higher than the clouds, there is motion. The sky is not empty. It is filled with rivers. Not of water you can see, not yet, but of water becoming. These are atmospheric rivers, long, narrow bands of water. Vapor streaming through the sky, quietly carrying the seeds of rain. You can't see them, but you feel their work when the rain comes. When the clouds darken, when the wind rises, you close your eyes and imagine them now. Skybound rivers, each thousands of kilometers long, each carrying more water than the Amazon. They form over oceans, where the sun gently warms the sea's surface, coaxing vapor upward into the air. That vapor rises, lifted by heat, by motion, by wind. It floats weightless, invisible, waiting. The air holds on to it like a promise. Then, guided by the earth spinning, by pressure and temperature, these invisible streams move, slowly, steadily, across oceans, across continents. Some flow toward the west coast of North America. Others drift toward Europe or Asia or Australia. They carry moisture from where it is abundant to where it is needed, or sometimes to where it becomes too much. And when they arrive, when they meet mountains, or cold air, or shifting wind, they release. The vapor cools, condenses, becomes cloud, then rain, then river again. But this time on the ground, you felt this. Rain that seems to fall endlessly. Gentle at first, then heavy. Soaking the earth, filling lakes, swelling rivers. What you may not have seen is the journey it took to get here. The sun touched the sea. The sea sighed vapor, and the sky carried it far. You are not just beneath the weather. You are inside its path. Even now, above your resting body, there may be vapor gathering clear and silent. Or maybe it has already begun, the slow thickening. Of air, the distant scent of rain before the first drop falls. You think of clouds now, how they form, how they gather. A single cloud begins as scattered moisture, tiny droplets, light enough to float. These droplets cluster around microscopic particles, dust, sea salt, pollen, even ash. The droplets find one another and hold on, drifting together like sleep forming in your mind. The warmer the air, the more water it can hold. But when the air rises, it cools, and as it cools, its grip loosens. Water vapor condenses, becomes visible, becomes form, becomes cloud dot, and then movement. Clouds drift across the sky like thought. Some stay light, harmless, watching the world. Others grow heavy, dark, deep with promise. You've seen them before, towering, swollen clouds with flat bases and boiling tops. These are cumulonimbus clouds, storm clouds. They can rise as high as 10 kilometers, built by the sun, fed by warm air rising. Within them, electric charges separate. Lightning waits. Rain readies itself. Wind begins to shift. All from water vapor. All from skyborne rivers dot. And yet, not every cloud brings rain. Some pass overhead, like slow dreams. Some shade the earth in silence. Still, they are part of the rivers. Journey from ocean to vapor, to cloud, to rain, to stream. And eventually, back to the sea. The water cycle is not a loop, it's a song. Each note rising and falling with temperature and light. And in that cycle, you are included. The water you drink once drifted in the sky. The tears you shed were once held by a cloud. The mist you see on a morning field once swam in the ocean. You are part sky, part river, part weather. The sun does not command the clouds, but it guides them. It warms the ocean. It lifts the vapor. It stirs the air dot, and then the earth, its shape, its tilt, its mountains completes the rest. When an atmospheric river meets the Sierra Nevada, for instance, it rises quickly, cools suddenly, and pours. These rivers bring rain, yes, but also snowpack, reservoirs, spring melt dot. They give life to forests, to crops, to you. But when too strong, they can flood, they can overwhelm. The balance is delicate like a tightrope of vapor stretched across the sky dot, and so you lie still, breathing beneath it, aware now that even the air above you holds rivers, that the wind carries more than motion. It carries history and future and life. You may hear a breeze outside your window. You may watch clouds drift. You may feel humidity rising before a storm. Now you'll know you're witnessing a journey, a river with no banks, a memory of the ocean in motion, a quiet system shaped by sunlight and spun by Earth's hand. You drift now, half asleep, into the space between clouds. You imagine flying just beneath them, feeling their cool breath. You imagine tracing one single drop from sea to sky to you dot, and in doing so, you see how weather begins not only in warmth or wind, but in this gentle lifting of water toward the heavens. You are floating, weightless again, held by vapor dot, and just ahead, in the quiet of the upper sky, the world begins to tilt dot, not dramatically, just slightly. Just enough to shift seasons enough to change everything. You are floating again, but this time, not through water or cloud now. You are drifting slowly above the earth itself, seeing it from a distance, quiet and turning, wrapped in blue. A glowing marble held in space, spinning with patient rhythm. You notice something. The earth does not sit upright. It leans. Gently, just a little dot, it tilts at 23.5 degrees, like a child asleep on its side, head resting on an unseen pillow. And this simple lean changes everything dot. This is where the seasons begin. Not in weather patterns, not in temperature alone, but in geometry, in the tilt of your planet as it orbits the sun. Imagine the earth circling the sun, always leaning in the eye. Same direction. This tilt means that as it moves, different parts of the world receive different amounts of sunlight dot. When your part of the world leans toward the sun, the days are longer, the light more direct. This is summer, a season of warmth, growth, and golden evenings. When your part of the world leans away, the days grow short, the light is slanted and soft. This is winter, a season of stillness, quiet, and sleep. And in between, the earth passes through moments of balance. Day and night become equal. These are the equinoxes in spring and fall, when the earth seems to pause and breathe evenly. You feel this rhythm in your bones, in the way you wake with the light, in the way you slow down when the air cools. Your body is part of the earth's choreography. Every plant, every bird, every ocean current and weather pattern bends gently to this celestial lean. And it all comes from sunlight arriving not just in amount, but in angle. Hold your hand to a lamp, tilt it, feel how the light changes. Strong and focused when direct, soft and stretched when slanted. This is how the earth feels the sun. In summer, the sunlight strikes more directly. It warms the ground quickly. The days stretch long into evening. You walk through golden light, and everything seems awake. In winter, the sun's path is lower in the sky. Its light touches the earth at a slant. It spreads out, warms less. Shadows grow long. The days shorten, and the world quiets. None of this is sudden. It shifts gently, like breath. Spring does not burst, it stirs. Autumn does not fall, it settles. Even storms follow this rhythm. In summer, warm air rises fast. Thunderclouds bloom. In winter, cold air settles low, steady and quiet. Snow falls in silence. The seasons are sunlight arranged in time. You breathe slowly, thinking of the places where this change is most dramatic, where the tilt paints the sky itself. In the far north and the far south, daylight can last for months, or vanish completely. The midnight sun glows in the Arctic summer, while deep polar winters hold on to night. And yet, life adjusts. Flowers bloom under snow. Animals rest beneath ice. People light fires and follow stars. You may live in a place where seasons are subtle, where temperatures shift softly. But still, the tilt touches you. In the way flowers bloom in rhythm. In the way the sun rises in a different part of the sky. Each month. In the way your mood brightens with light, slows with dusk. The tilt is not a flaw. It is a gift. Without it, there would be no real seasons, no cycles of planting and harvest, no autumn leaves or spring blossoms. The earth would spin, day after day, in perfect symmetry. Always the same, balanced but still. Instead, we have change. We have contrast. We have story. Even the storms know this story. Monsoons come in summer, when land warms faster than ocean, drawing moist air inward. Blizzards form in winter, when cold air masses collide with warm ones. Hurricanes rise in late summer, when oceans have stored months of sunlight and finally release it in great spirals of wind. All of it shaped by the sun, not in force, but in angle. You lie back again on the turning earth, feeling the slow arc of your planet through space. Even now, as you rest, the seasons are shifting. Somewhere, a tree is budding. Somewhere else, snow is falling on fields of sleeping grain. The tilt writes these verses in sunlight and time. And the earth listens. You listen to. Think back. Can you remember the smell of the first warm day? The way the air felt new, filled with promise? Or the first leaf falling in autumn, crisp and red, like a whispered goodbye? That is the sun, curving into your life. That is the earth, tilting through memory. You are not apart from this. You are made of the same rules, the same rhythm. Your body knows when to rest, when to wake, when to bloom. And in this moment, as the night deepens, you feel the earth beneath you, not just as ground, but as movement. You are carried gently on a tilted planet, spinning through stars. And ahead, This gentle spin will begin to touch even deeper rhythms ones inside your own body. Because the sun not only shapes the seasons outside dot, it also shapes the time within. You dot the clocks in your cells, dot the tides of your mind. The patterns of your sleep dot in the next chapter. You'll discover how your body listens to daylight, how even the smallest part of you remembers the sun. You lie comfortably, your breath steady and slow. Your body feels heavy but light all at once. Like a leaf drifting on a calm stream outside, the world is wrapped in quiet shadows. But inside, a silent symphony is playing, a conversation between your body and the light of the sun. You may not see it, but your body carries a clock one that does not tick with gears or springs, but with molecules and rhythms. Scientists call it the circadian clock dot. This clock lives deep within your brain, in a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. The SCN listens closely to daylight. When sunlight enters your eyes, it sends messages here, signals that tell your body when to wake and when to rest. Imagine this clock as a gentle metronome inside you, keeping time with the rising and setting sun dot as light floods your eyes in. The morning, your SCN nudges your brain to produce hormones like cortisol, the gentle messenger of alertness. Your heart beats a little faster. Your mind stirs from sleep's quiet depths dot as evening falls. The SCN signals your body to release melatonin, the hormone of rest. Melatonin flows through your blood like a soft lullaby, telling your muscles to relax and your mind to slow. Daily dance of hormones is part of a larger rhythm, one you've known all your life. Even before you understood it, the timing of this dance depends on the sun, the color, the intensity, the length of daylight. When days grow longer in spring, your body begins to shift. You feel more energy, more wakefulness. When nights stretch in winter, melatonin calls you earlier, inviting longer rest. This rhythm is not just sleep and wakefulness. It touches everything inside you, your mood, your digestion, your temperature, even the strength of your immune system. Your cells, in fact, have their own clock's tiny gears, ticking in every tissue, every organ. These clocks coordinate with the master clock in your brain, creating harmony. The sun is the conductor of this orchestra, shining its light and setting the tempo. You breathe deeply now and imagine the sunlight entering your eyes. It passes through layers of tissue, reaches specialized cells called photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells don't help you see shapes or colors. They only detect light itself. They tell the SCN when it's day, when it's night, and even what kind of light it is: blue light, warm light, fading twilight. This information helps your brain adjust minute by minute, hour by hour dot, and when you live indoors, away from natural light, your clock can drift. It's like a watch that loses time when not reset. You feel gratitude for the sun now. Its invisible signals guiding your health in ways you rarely notice. Scientists have found that without regular exposure to daylight, people can experience disruptions in mood, sleep, and even metabolism. You think about how modern life often keeps us from the sun's rhythm's artificial light in the evening. Screens glowing late at night dot, but here, in your quiet moment, you return to nature's cycle. You reconnect to the gentle flow of light and dark that shaped human life for millennia dot. Your breathing slows further. You imagine melatonin spreading through your veins, softening your muscles, coaxing your eyelids to close. Your mind drifts toward dreams guided by the sun's fading glow outside your window. And just as this chapter closes, you carry with you a new awareness that the sun's light is not just out there in the sky, God, it is inside you, shaping your sleep, your health, your very being. You rest now, cinched with the rhythm of the day, held by the secret signals of light. In the quiet dark ahead, your body will remember. The sun's song plays on silent, steady and endlessly kind. You lie quietly, the world outside softened by the veil of night. The sky is dark, but inside you, something stirs, a journey beginning. In shadow, night is often thought of as silence, emptiness, absence. But in truth, it is filled with life. Your body, wrapped in stillness, moves through a hidden landscape, a symphony of deep rhythms and gentle pulses. As you surrender to sleep, your brain shifts through stages. At first, your breath slows, muscles relax. Your mind drifts toward light sleep, where the edges of waking begin to blur. This is stage one, a quiet slipping between worlds. Then, you sink deeper into stage two, a calm ocean where your body slows further. Your heart beats steady, your temperature cools, and your brain sends out gentle bursts of activity called sleep spindles, brief sparks that help memory and learning. From here, you move into the quietest depth, stage three, or slow wave sleep. This is the place of healing. Your body repairs itself, cells regenerate, and your immune system strengthens. The brain washes itself with fluids, clearing away waste from the day. You feel weightless in this deep sleep, held by waves of slow, rhythmic electrical activity, like ocean tides pulling you gently downward. Then, the rhythm changes. You enter REM sleep, the stage of dreaming. Your eyes flicker beneath closed lids. Your brain hums with activity, almost awake, but your muscles remain still. Dreams arise here, stories, woven by your mind's quiet creativity. They are puzzles, memories, hopes, and fears, mixed like threads in a tapestry. IM sleep is vital. It helps process emotions, consolidate memories, and refresh your spirit. Night is not simply rest. It is restoration. And your body knows this rhythm intimately. Each cycle of sleep, moving from light to deep to REM, lasts about 90 minutes. You pass through them several times in the night, slowly renewing. You breathe with this pattern, now slow, steady, rising and falling like waves. Outside, the world is dark and still, but inside, your body is alive with quiet power. Even your heart and lungs join the symphony. Your heartbeat slows, blood pressure drops, and muscles relax further. This restful state strengthens your mind and body, preparing you for the day ahead. You may not feel these changes, but they happen with steady grace. The night holds a secret. In darkness, you are most fully alive. You rest beneath a sky that itself cycles through phases of light and shadow phases that have guided life for billions of years. The moon rises and falls. Stars wheel silently, and you, wrapped in blankets and quiet, are part of this cosmic dance. Sleep is a gift from the universe, a time to heal, to dream, to grow. You feel the softness of this gift as you drift further towards sleep's edge. Your body floats on waves of rest and renewal, and as your eyelids close, you carry with you the knowledge that night is not empty, that it is alive with quiet power, and it will hold you safe until the sun returns. You are drifting now, not through oceans or sky or sunlight, but through the inner landscape of your own mind. Sleep has taken hold, and you've moved beyond the surface, deep into the stage of dreaming. This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement, where your brain becomes quietly active, alive with flickering signals. Your muscles are still, gently paralyzed to keep you safe. But inside your head, the story unfolds. Your eyes twitch beneath your lids. Your heart beats slightly faster. Your breath deepens, takes on rhythm, and you begin to dream. Dreams are not random. They are not noise. They are your brain's quiet. Language images stitched together from memory, emotion, and meaning. You may dream of places you've never been, faces you've never met, or moments that make no sense in waking life. But every detail comes from somewhere. A thought, a scent, a conversation, a fear, a wish. Your brain does not sleep the way your body does. While you rest, your limbic system, the emotional center of the brain remains active. The amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex all hum in harmony or in tension, shaping your inner world. And the dreams that arise are not just echoes. They are processing the brain's way of untangling, filing, softening. Emotional memories are sifted and sorted. Experiences are weighed, replayed, reshaped. Your brain, in its gentle silence, is trying to understand, and it does so by painting pictures. You might walk through a garden made of forgotten sounds. You might speak to someone who is no longer alive. You might fly. You might fall. You might return to a childhood street bathed in unfamiliar light. And even if the dream fades by morning, the work it did remains. Dreaming helps regulate mood. It enhances memory. It helps you wake up feeling lighter, even if you don't remember why. You are not conscious during most dreams, but you are deeply present. Every color you see, every sensation you feel, is your brain speaking to itself, trying to make peace with what it holds. And that's why dreams can be strange. The prefrontal cortex, which handles logic and structure, is less active during REM sleep. The dreaming brain doesn't insist on rules. It lets things float, combine, shift. So in dreams, time bends. Places merge. The impossible becomes familiar. And yet, within this fluid space, your mind is doing something vital. It is healing. Some researchers believe that dreams help us prepare for challenges, running simulations, playing out fears and hopes in a safe space. Others see dreams as emotional therapy, allowing the brain to release and resolve without confrontation. Either way, dreaming is a necessary part of sleep's architecture. Without it, we fray. Sleep studies show that when people are deprived of REM, their mood worsens, their memory falters, and their concentration slips. Sleep, and the dreams within it, are not luxuries. They are part of what keeps you whole. And so as you lie still in bed, you are traveling softly, invisibly through your own neural constellations. You may not remember your dreams. That's okay. Most people forget them within minutes of waking. But your brain remembers the work. It remembers how it's stitched together, meaning in the dark. You breathe deeply now, carried by this silent process. Somewhere in your brain, the hippocampus is filing away the day, what was important, what was new, what should be kept. The amygdala is softening emotions, making sharp edges smooth. Your body lies still, but your mind is brushing the inside of memory, turning moments into stories and stories into sleep. You are safe here. Held in a soft space beyond time. And tomorrow, when you rise, something in you will feel lighter, because in the deep of night, your mind gently rearranged its shells. Dreams may not always make sense, but they are never without meaning. And the very act of dreaming, of wandering through thought and feeling, is one of the brain's oldest gifts. Long before humans had calendars, or clocks, or written words, we dreamed. Beneath starlit skies, inside caves, by fires, we dreamed of danger and beauty and change. We still do. Your ancestors knew what you now feel, that in the quiet of night, something sacred stirs, something that speaks without words, that carries you through shadows and into light. So tonight, as you drift further, let the dreams come gently. Let them unfold without fear. They are messengers, not of prophecy, but of process. They are the mind's quiet caretakers. And as you sleep, they will watch over you. The next time you wake, you may not remember them, but your mind will know it has traveled. And your heart will feel it has been heard. Turn softly now, sinking deeper still. The world is dark. Your body rests. Your thoughts dissolve. And your dreams begin again. You lie still. The world around you is dark, but not forever. In the distance, not with a sound, but with a shift, something begins. A faint glow rises at the edge of the sky, soft as a sigh. The sun is returning, not in a burst, not in a rush, but in a slow unveiling, like a curtain drawn open inch by inch. And with it, your body stirs. You do not leap toward the day. You rise with it. As light begins to press gently against your eyelids. Your body listens, just as it always has. Your circadian rhythm, tuned over billions of years, hears the whisper of brightness and begins to hum. Cortisol rises quietly in tonin. Your blood, not the hormone of stress, but the messenger of waking. Your temperature climbs. Your heart takes notice. Your breath begins to deepen. Your body knows, even before your eyes open, it is time. Not time to hurry, but time to return. Return from the deep waters of sleep. Return from the silent roads of dreams. Return to the day. Outside, the light grows slowly. The first rays of dawn bend through the atmosphere, painting the sky in soft pastels, lavender, peach, the palest blue. This isn't just light. It's information. Blue wavelengths of morning light send signals to your brain, aligning your inner clocks once more, telling your cells, begin again. Your body stretches without moving. Each cell feels the sun's approach like a tide rising. Even your organs, your liver, your lungs, your skin begin to shift toward wakefulness, toward purpose. The dreams of the night begin to dissolve, like mist lifting from a field. And in their place, something quiet arrives. Clarity. The gentle sense that everything has turned again. That even if nothing has changed, something within you has. You lie still a moment longer, listening to the light, not as brightness, but as rhythm. The same sun that touched the oceans and lifted vapor, the same sun that stirred the atmosphere, carved seasons, shifted winds, now enters your room, touches your cheek, and invites you into its ancient circle. It is the same sun, and you are the same earth. You are not separate from the systems you've journeyed through. You are made of them. The light that wakes you also shapes the clouds. The tilt that brings your seasons also turns the forests gold. The heat that builds storms also feeds your food. And the winds that move across oceans carry the breath of other lands into your lungs. You are a participant in the earth's design, a listener in its chorus. And as the light grows stronger, you feel that participation deepen. You rise not with urgency, but with quiet wonder. You feel your muscles respond, your spine lengthen, your mind unfold. And as you open your eyes, you see not just the room, not just the sky, but the connection between light and sleep. Between sun and breath, between sky and skin. The morning is not an interruption. It is a continuation. A turning of the wheel, a return to rhythm. You think now of how many mornings have come before. Of how your ancestors watched the sky, waited for warmth, marked the rising sun with stone and song. They too felt this return. They too rose slowly, softly, with light. You are part of a long story, one told in stars and shadows. In tides and hormones. In dreams and days. And now, as you sit gently in the presence of morning, you feel something like peace. You feel that the sun does not command you. It invites you. To begin again. To step into this day, not as a task, but as a rhythm. To breathe in light. To carry the quiet wisdom of night with you into what comes next. Because even as the world brightens, the stillness of sleep remains in your bones. Memory of softness, a reminder that rest is not weakness, but wisdom. And that every sunrise is a dialogue between the outer sun and your inner world. You are not simply waking, you are sinking once again with the pulse of the planet. And as you stretch toward the day, you carry the knowledge of all that came before: the solar wind, the ocean's warmth, the sky's vapor, the tilt, the dreams. It was all one story. And now, in this soft light, you continue it dot step by breath, word by silence. Light by light dot, the sun returns dot, and so do you.